Harper Audio presents True Stories from an Unreliable Eyewitness, a Feminist Coming of Age, by Christine Lahti. This is the author. For my family. Memory is a complicated thing, relative to the truth, but not its twin. Barbara Kingsolver. Any woman who chooses to behave like a full human being should be warned that the armies of the status quo will treat her as something of a dirty joke. She will need her sisterhood. Gloria Steinem. A dysfunctional family is any family with more than one person in it. Mary Karr. Introduction. Why right now? Click. This book is a collection of my true stories. They are my emotional memories, the goo that surrounds the facts, the parasitic muck that attaches to them. These are the stories that altered me in some way, even just temporarily. They chronicle events when something inside me stirred or quaked. There was a shift in my focus, a tremor up my spine, a hot flash of injustice, of shame, a humble reckoning with my own imperfections, an acceptance, a forgiveness. Some of these stories have made me fight harder. Others are lessons I keep having to relearn, taking 3 steps backwards and wobbling before being able to stand up straight again. Sometimes these stories are simply a quiet reminder of hope when everything in me wanted to give up. These are the kind of memories that have been permanently etched into my psyche. My siblings, upon reading them, cried foul. What? I don't remember that at all. Or, that's not how they happened. That's because, as sifted through my personal filter, these events didn't happen to them. In fact, my first story, Free John Funky, concerns the fallibility of memory, how emotion can sometimes render us unreliable eyewitnesses to our own true stories. Even so, I've found value in telling the stories that those memories have over the years solidified into. Most of mine occupy a place where comedy and tragedy overlap. In that regard, my life has often felt like a Chekhov play, albeit one set in an affluent Detroit suburb and then migrating to New York and Los Angeles. Many of these stories are told through the lens of my ever-evolving feminism, the lens through which I see just about everything. I call them my click moments. Back in the 1970s, I was told that I would only have one click, the moment when my feminism dropped bone deep from my head into my body. A eureka moment from which there could be no turning back. The veil would be permanently lifted. I would see the world in a completely different way, and it would turn me into a lifelong activist. Part of that turned out to be true. My first big awakening is described in the story Walking. But I've had hundreds of clicks. I've been a clumsy feminist, finding solid footing only to be knocked down again. And I keep finding new veils to be lifted. The order of these stories loosely follows that stumbling journey to find agency, from innocence toward experience, from powerlessness toward empowerment. I see this collection as the highs and lows of a feminist who is very much still a work in progress, with all the humiliating, hilarious, heartbreaking potholes along the way. In college, Chester Martin, an older professional actor who I deeply respected, looked at me through watery, bloodshot eyes and stated, "Christine, you have no light to shed upon the human existence. You will never make it as an actress." Never mind that he was sloshed and that I had just rejected his inappropriate, aggressive sexual advances. Nevertheless, I believed him, and it crushed me. Not for long, though, because I decided soon after that, no matter what he thought, I had to act. I saw the film Long Day's Journey into Night, directed by Sidney Lumet, at the State Theater in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in the autumn of 1970. Unable to stop sobbing, I rode my bike around campus for an hour afterwards. I knew by the end of that ride that I needed to be part of films, plays, and stories that would have that kind of power to move people. I grew up in a family of 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys in Birmingham, Michigan. I was the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?